Let me see if we should be live already.
Good.
No, I'm just waiting for the YouTube. YouTube. Yes, we are live now. So welcome everyone, and I hope you are enjoying this warm weather outside, um, especially in Kalmar. And today we have Osama Zara, who is also who was a student once at the Linnaeus University and one of the best students we have. And Osama also worked us last year on this course as a TA, so helping with other students. And it was a great experience working with Osama also. And
Thank you.
Osama is also working for Kalmar Energy now as an engineer, right?
Yes.
And they have a number of interesting projects on IoT that are live and working solutions. So
Mm,
I let you present yourself, Osama, and then we can start your presentation.
yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Usama Zarra, and I'm working as a software developer in Kalmar Energy. Usually, I'm working with coding and developing applications related to Internet of Things. Maybe like as Francis said, I was a student exactly like you. And started my journey or find my career in Internet of Things. Started exactly like being a student, and then I get a chance to work or to get like an internship in Kalmar Energy, and then I got my job and started working in Kalmar Energy. So in short, like my whole story started exactly within Internet of Things. So maybe this will inspire you. So what or uh, what is like Kalmar Energy? Kalmar Energy is like a company providing like energy or other products such as district heating. Uh, to start this like presentation, so I'm going to start with the schedule. So I'm going to introduce Kalman Energy, LoRa network, platform, Internet of Things portal, and I'll end this presentation with like future or talking about like ideas about Internet of Things that we are currently discussing inside the company. So, Kalmar Energy is electricity company and at the same time electricity trading company. It produces electricity and district heating. It provides also black fibers or fibers for internet. At the same time, we started working with Internet of Things, more specifically with LoRaWAN. So this is basically what we are in Kalmar Energy. As you see from this picture, so we work from like producing electricity, working with cables, devices, meters, installing uh, cables and fibers for internet. So like it's a huge or maybe like different sectors inside the industry. Also, we provide what's called district heating and electricity production. District heating, just to provide heating to houses and apartments. It produced like and it produced in like a far facility, and we send heating through pipes to houses and apartments. We have two main buildings for or main facilities to produce electricity and district heating. One of them is called Muskogen, or it's located in Muskogen, and another one is located in Draken. near Kalmar, and then the one is about like 14 kilometers from Kalmar. So yeah. In terms of fibers, so we provide also internet, or we install, or we deal with infrastructure for the internet. So we connect, or we work or install fibers, black fibers to provide internet. At the same time, we have also connected Åland, the island besides Kalmar. But what about Internet of Things, or what are we, or what is our main work with Internet of Things? Actually, we started Internet of Things. It was long time before. It was 2009. Started with Internet of Things, and we started working basically or mainly with infrastructure. So we provide what's called gateways to connect devices, or methods to connect devices through gateways. Uh, then we thought about we need maybe like a way to connect or to provide services to our customers. Uh, so we started working with and managing the infrastructure for the Internet of Things, and we started with like testing technology, LoRa technology, and started with many or multiple types of sensors to connect multiple types of sensors from temperature, humidity, uh, volumes, like different type or so many types of sensors. In 2018, we joined Statsopt-Alliansen. It's like a union for dealing with Internet of Things and LoRa. Uh, Mainly, like we focus, or our main focus was exactly with LoRaWAN. We started investigating other technologies, which I will talk about them later. Uh, how does this work? So, in short, or if we want to talk about this in general, so we have sensors, and we need some kind of way to connect these sensors, and these gateways, or we call them gateways, send the data to network servers, and the network servers send data again to application server or application servers. So we have multiple layers to send the final result or the final data from sensors. It doesn't matter what is the type of the sensor, since like it's supported, it sends the data via or using a payload, and payload is encoded as a hexadecimal. So started with LoRaWAN. So this is the whole picture of working with LoRa. So on the left side we have the nodes or the sensors. So maybe we have bit tracking, maybe alarm, or water meter, trash container, gas monitoring, and we send this data, or these sensors are connected or send data using LoRa protocol to gateways. These gateways get the data and send them to network server, and network server send the data to application servers. Uh, all this, like this protocol or this way, is encrypted with advanced encryption standard using like LoRa or LoRaWAN. The connection between the gateways and network server and application server usually using like HTTP or TCP/IP, SSL, something like this. But the connection or the protocol that is used between the sensors and the gateways is LoRa mainly. So we basically provide the gateways to connect these sensors. So as you can see from this picture, so we install these gateways on towers or locations, different locations, just to minimize the chance of interference. At the same time, we can, or like someone can connect to these gateways who has the keys. So once they are connected through these gateways, so they can send data to the network server. The network server and the application server, these terms, we need something, or let's say like a platform to uh, get the data or to process this data. um, to make things easier for us. So we need like a platform or a provider basically that provide these network servers and manage the platform to get the data from sensors and just push them to us or the network server or to final customer or our customers. So we managed to work with Activity. Activity is one of the providers for LoRa. So Activity actually like provides a platform to handle the messages that come from the sensors. So they provide what's called the network servers and application servers, and we can connect through their APIs to get the data, or maybe they can push the messages to us using MQTT protocol or other protocols. But usually, like the flow for the message, it will go from the sensors to gateways, and gateways they send data to Activity, and Activity send data or sends data to us. Uh, just to mention, like there are other technologies other than Activity, maybe like you are familiar now with. One of them is called, or we started investigating the Things Network, and another one like it's Helium. The Things Network, it's almost the main concepts for LoRa. It's working with LoRa, the Things Network. So maybe like anyone can connect through gateways that provided by Things Network, or maybe like provided by you. So maybe you can install, you can create like a gateway and send data to the Things Network, and data send data again or forward the data to other platforms, dashboard, endpoints, whatever. Helium is like a new technology, or maybe like I'm not sure like when it started, but we are investigating right now, like or discussing the benefit of Helium. They are using a new type of protocol. It's called LongFi. Almost the same with LoRa, but it's like somehow like a mesh network, or I'm not totally sure like about this. Usually I work basically with coding or with high level, let's say. But it's like a new one using cryptocurrency. So we started investigating this kind of technology also. Uh, the main idea how to provide services to our customers, or maybe like to us internally. So the idea is we need a single point to provide our services. Let's say like an interface to provide the services to the company. We need to manage Internet of Things devices at the same or as well as meters, like being as an energy company and provide district heating also. So we have like meters, and we have like different type of meters. So we have electricity meters, and at the same time we have heat meters. So we need like a way to use Internet of Things to handle or to process the data. And we will consider meters also as an Internet of Things device. So it's not like a meter only, so it's also like an Internet of Things device also. At the same time, we need a way to visualize the data, and then we came up with a solution. So it's called Internet of Things Portal to manage this data. Uh, what is the solution that we started working with? It was actually before about 1 year when I came or started working like full time in the company. So we started working, or we put like the main ideas or what we need from this platform, or why there is like there is a need for create a new platform for us. First of all, we need APIs or application program interface to provide our services to customers or to us. We need to store the data, real-time data and time series data. At the same time, we need like alarm and monitor the data. And the last one, we need to visualize the data that we have from the sensors. Uh, so we started working with Internet of Things architecture with so many applications. We ended with this kind of architecture that provide services to our customers using different projects that I'm going to talk about them later. So as you can see from this image, so we have a single point to interact with the customers. It's called API Management Gateway. And through API Management Gateway, we get data or send data to our services or internal services, such as device flow service, device alarm service, device data service, and device data latest services. At the same time, we send data from device flow service to other services just for monitoring and for creating alarms. So if we are going to talk about this in like, if we are talking about like as an example for this, so we can say if we have like a temperature and we need to know like if this temperature goes above 30 degrees, so we can just set up alarm, and once the temperature is above 30, so we get alarm using notification service or notification email service or notification SMS service. Uh, what are the projects that currently working with using Internet of Things portal? The first project is temperature measurement for Kalmar Commune or Kalmar municipality. Other project is environment project for water measurement for, or what's called Kalmar button project. Barbecue or grill plats project, temperature in out for district heating. The first project that we worked with is called Kalmar or temperature measurement for Kalmar Commune. Actually, this project, as I said before, we provide APIs, application program interfaces, to our services. So actually, Kalmar Commune gets data from us via our APIs or Internet of Things portal, and we get this data from the sensors, or the sensors actually send the data to Internet of Things portal, and once anyone requests the data via Kalmar application, so we get this request and we process this request. You can, one like would like to test this, so can just open the Kalmar application, download this Kalmar application, and you will get information about the sensors inside Kalmar. We have also this image that shows the temperature or time series about the temperature in Kalmar. Just like to, so if someone would like to go and swim, so just can check the application, and the application will say, oh, okay, like it's time, so it's good temperature, so like now maybe to go and swim. Another project is called, we call it Kalmar Vatten project, or water management. So they have different type of sensors for or different type of measures or measurements for the water. So it's the level of the water, several types of ultra-UD or supersonic, the pressure of the water. So different type of measurements or different type of data that comes via these sensors. Again, this project is we are working this project with Kalmar Button. It's also like a company inside Kalmar. As I said, like different type of of data. It's written here in Swedish. Sorry for that, but yeah, it's like for just measuring the data from the sensors. Again, we have different type of data, so it's the level of the measurement, the dates. So that's like in general. We have also like before presenting the Internet of Things portal, we have also like a barbecue also sensors, but this one started actually with the students after graduating, I think so. Maybe I'm not totally sure, but they started with like an idea for creating a new sensor to measure if there is someone if there's someone in a plot or in a location or not. So let's say like we want to go and to go for a barbecue. So easily like we would like to know this place is like if there is someone there who's like doing or working or doing the barbecue or no. So this could be done using like a sensor. So I'm going to present the data. So this is the portal that we created. Again, this portal is actually is using the APIs that we have created for the projects and for all the projects that we worked with. Uh, Before starting with this portal, actually, we were using other platforms to work with Internet of Things devices. Then we started with this project and we created almost everything from the beginning. Uh, just the data or dealing or processing the data. As you can see here, like we have this portal and we have different type of sensors, so we can know like when this sensor, like a sensor sends data to us or not, or when is the last time this or a sensor sends data to us. Uh, these sensors are for the project for grill plots or for the barbecue for detecting if there is someone in a location or not.
Sorry,
Uh,
sorry, Osama, just to interrupt you briefly, we got a relevant question on sensors since you
mm,
are showing this demo.
mm,
What sensors are you using for monitoring water parameters in Kalmar and how can we check related data for Kalmar?
I'm not sure, but I can show like an image. Let me just like just add test and device next. So these sensors that we are currently working with, maybe like Sensing Lab is the sensor for measure to measure the data, and I think Linux also for measuring the information from the sensors from the water. Barbecue is like new sensor. It's like created by students, like they made this one. But for water, like usually I don't work like a lot with the sensor with the hardware, but I'm not sure. But since Sensing Lab and maybe like also LSS, like two sensors, this the last three sensors mainly for monitoring the water and the temperature. Maybe LSS the main sensor that is used for Kalmar project. But we support these sensors. We work with these sensors. This is the main idea. What is the data that is sent by each sensor? We handle this. We process this. But who's going to work with these sensors? Honestly, I don't know. But what I know exactly is we have four projects. Uh, Anyone like using this portal can use these sensors or these supported sensors. Maybe like a question will maybe a question maybe someone will ask here. Maybe there is like a new type of sensor and we are going to support it. So what we need to do? Uh, Laura, in general, we have a payload that needs to be decoded before processing the data. So the data that comes from the sensors will be in a the hex like hex numbers, and we need to decode that and then process the data and show the data. Uh, that's basically why we don't support, or it's somehow super hard to handle all types of sensors. Again, like maybe anyone like who has experience right now with LoRa can send data and send them as hexadecimal data. So this will be like a new payload, and like you need to send when you create this type of sensor, you need to send the manual to developers to decode the information. uh, this is basically how it works with the sensors or with LoRa. Again, for Kalmar project not totally sure, but the last three sensors are responsible for temperature, humidity, like other things. Maybe I can show maybe else's. Before showing else's, this grill plots or barbecue location is to show the information about if there is someone already there or not. So as we can see, if the count is zero, so no one is there. When the count is more than zero, so there is someone there. And we get information for each day. So we can easily like monitor and see like if there is someone there or not. We can also choose another sensor, so just to take a look like if there is someone is there or not. Even more, we try to make things even easier. So like maybe we have like hundreds of sensors, so we need like to show these sensors or show the count maybe like the sensor. So we can easily just check here, so we can see like it's zero or one. Maybe we can also create, if we want to check the battery level, and we say like from value 80 to 100, it's good. So if we say this is below this value, so we will get like in a blue color above or during this value, or in the range of this value between 80 and 100 that we defined. So we get like a green one. If we say like no, it's like for, or maybe between 70 and 80. So if something above this value, it will be like in red. So this is in general. We can filter almost all the data that comes from the sensors, even like the temperature. The temperature. I'm not totally sure if there is like a sensor for the temperature or external temperature, but maybe like in temperature, this one, yes. So this is the temperature. So if you want to say like we want the temperature, the normal temperature like 20, 15 to 20. So anything above 20, so we'll get it in a red color. At the same time, we can set alarms to monitor these sensors. So like the ones here, we can just check this alarm and check the logs and the value for each alarm. We have like different configurations to deal with alarms, greater, equal, whatever. As I said, like this portal is for 4 projects right now. We are working with four projects.
Sorry, Osama, just a quick question on this portal. Since you are showing this portal, someone asks, is this portal is private, or how, if anyone
Yeah.
want to access, they can access to this portal, or
This is private right now. We are actually discussing this more in general. So what we are trying to do, like in the future, we're trying to make like these APIs accessible from anyone who has like sensors. We are also discussing the idea if there is anyone who has like a sensor, just can go in and log in via my pages or Mina Sidor in Swedish, and just show the sensors. So maybe like in future, you can connect your own sensors to the portal and get alarms, or maybe check the sensors directly. At the same time, check also the meters or electricity meter or district heating also. So this is what we are thinking about. So that's why I mentioned from the beginning, we need like a single point of APIs to handle all our services. So we are currently working on this, but for now it's only for other municipalities that we are, or companies that we are currently working with. Uh, like as I mentioned, one of them, Kalmar Kommun, Kalmar Municipality, Kalmar Vatten, Grillplatz, that currently we are working with. Uh, so this is the portal in general. Uh, yeah, this is the last example for the portal to us temperature in and out for district heating. Currently, we want to reduce to reduce the how many times that we visit the sensors or the meters for district heating. To do this, we are going to use the portal. So when we have like a value, so no need like to someone to go there and check if the meter working fine or not. So this is our last project that we are planning to work with, but maybe after the vacation. This is in general for the Internet of Things portal. Um in general, like future or what we are going to do in future. So we want to improve or develop the Internet of Things portal and the APIs that are related to Internet of Things. We are discussing also the idea to create a new business for Internet of Things to be like for each for all devices, not only for meters or Internet of Things devices, because like in reality, both of them are Internet of Things. At the same time, we are currently investigating the idea of working with LoRa in healthcare and expanding our LoRa one by installing more gateways in Kalmar or cities around Kalmar. So this is what currently are trying or in the future that we are working with. If you have like a project or idea, so you are always welcome. As I said, like one of the projects was with grill plats or barbecue area. This project is conducted by students like you. They came up with a new idea to find if there is people in a location or not, and send data via LoRa and detect them. So this could be translated to a new service or a new service to our or to customers, or maybe like to people who live in Kalmar. So this is exactly, and this could be like a huge benefit, or maybe like you will get your career with this. Um, that's it. Questions?
Yeah, like I already shared one question on the stream. So for the barbecue place to detect people or the presence of the people,
Mm.
how many sensors you usually need to detect the?
For each location, like we need like a sensor for each one. So currently we are testing 5 locations. Vishnas, I think so. Vishnas, Tegel, Viken. So we are currently testing like 5 locations. If everything goes well, so we are going to publish this data inside Kalmar app or Kalmar application, Android and iOS, in cooperation with the Kalmar Kommun, surely. So like for each one. So that's the idea. So if you came up maybe like with idea like to work with these devices, so you can just create the device, send the data to device using LoRa network or maybe like other kinds of technologies, and we can use this data. We are planning to work with other technologies other than LoRa. As I said, like helium sounds promising to work with. Again, like we need like the final result will be something that the user can use or can do something with it. And this could be like a grill place or barbecue area, or maybe like something else, or maybe like detecting how many people inside like a location. So these kind of ideas that we are looking for, and these are really really nice ideas.
Then there is another general question on the correctness of your data. Like, how do you ensure or how do you know that your data is correct, what you are receiving through your sensors or in your portal?
Yeah, this is one of the detect flaws in the data, as we say. So we need like what's called, or we are currently working with a new service. It's called device checking or like analysis service to detect the data before saving the data inside or inside the database. So by doing this, we analyze the data, or maybe we can apply different type of machine learning algorithms to make sure the data is correct before saving the data. But till now, we say like the data is somehow is correct. No issues with data. But we faced this issue before with some of the meters sending information to us. But currently we are trying to make like a new service to detect and analyze the data uh, before saving them,
Mhm.
or before saving.
And you also mentioned that this portal is not public yet, but
Mm.
can people get the data if they have, I mean, if, or do you
Um,
provide APIs for people to get data out of the sensors?
Unfortunately, no, till now, because like each one or each company that we are currently working with has an account, and it's protected using OAuth encryption or OAuth for the data or for accessing or like a way for authorization. But we are working hard just to make these APIs public. Uh, Once like it's like public and everything is done or everything is well, so we can publish this. But again, our idea from the beginning in future that we have like one interface for all our services or APIs for all our services. This includes Internet of Thing devices. Again, like we consider now the devices or emitters the same as Internet of Things devices. So both of them are devices, both of them send data and get data. So there is uplink and downlink in data, which is like there is no like obstacles to consider them like as a devices. Um, in future, as I said, so maybe like someone just who has access to my pages or mina sidor in Swedish can just log in, check the devices, add devices. So maybe like you can open your garage, maybe you can detect like a temperature or smoke detectors, just connect them directly, or maybe open your door using like my pages. We are discussing this and we are working hard to this. But the first step for us just to finish the main functionality for the portal, add new also functionalities, improve them, improve the charts, uh, and then like we can start working with my pages if everything goes well. But we are discussing this.
Yes, and also it seems we have a number of questions regarding the hardwares, but I understand you are more expert in software side and API side. But nevertheless, I just want to ask if you have any clue. So,
Yeah.
how do you know if your sensors or batteries, let's say, it's died or the sensor is not working from this portal?
Yeah, we have a service. It's called device monitor service. So I can. This is like a new feature that we are working with, but the first step is done actually. But I will share this one exactly. So we have what's called device data latest service. the data is actually is sent to device data processing service, and device data processing service is actually sending also to device data latest service. So in this service, we have like a database. By the way, we have database for device alarm service. We have database for device service. We have database for device data service. We have database for device data latest service. So like in short, we have almost like a database for each, almost for each service. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, almost like seven databases, and we connect them using, or there is only one interface for them. It's called API Management Gateway. Uh, Inside this service, device data latest service, so we save only the latest value that comes from a sensor. And we have like a schedule or like just like a monitor, so timer, just to check if like the time or for the last time that we receive a data from like a sensor, so we know directly from the service. So this is like in general that we are actually we are currently working with this one or for this feature. This is the scenario if something goes bad, or if the sensor is dead or the battery level is going down. We can see this one by doing, or just we can go look into any like sensor, and we can just see like maybe like see the battery level for the sensor. We can even like if we want like data before like 1 month just to see. So we see like this one, the battery decreased like a little bit, and we see the temperature here. This data comes from actually like from device data service, but the data that we have the last message comes from like another service. Usually I work with the APIs and architecture for the project more than the hardware. uh, like our plan was to like someone from the metal department to join me, but unfortunately he couldn't make it.
And also there was again a dirty question for you.
Mm.
Perhaps if you have the idea, like what type of sensor you can use in the barbecue place to detect presence or absence.
As I understand, like there are multiple ideas for this one. So one of them maybe like you can use Wi-Fi to detect if there is like a signal, because you know there is like a beacon sent by a mobile device to detect like I'm here. So if there is someone there, so it would be like a beacon, or maybe like you can use. I'm not really sure how they did it because we are interested with the final result. So they send us information, but I think so. Maybe like they are using such as like like a router, and there is like a beacon is sent by a mobile device, and the router will respond. So just checking or doing analysis for the beacons or for the signal, so we know like there is someone around this area. So by doing this, we know like someone is here. And maybe like this is the easiest way to detect the presence of like someone who has, of course, like a mobile phone.
Mm.
But maybe like other technologies, I'm not totally sure. Maybe they will use like an echo or something to detect something or someone is there. Ultrasonic.
Yeah, there
Sensor.
are ultrasonic sensors, there are
Mm,
photoelectric sensors, there are
mm,
even proximity sensors. I mean, you can
mm.
use any
Yeah,
sensor you want.
exactly.
And then a general question: how do you connect to the network server?
Yeah, if we are talking about LoRa or the technology of LoRa, so there are two ways for connecting the sensor to gateways. There is like I think activation by press button and activation on the air. I think so, if I can remember. So by doing these technologies, you can just connect. So maybe like the sensor will be pre-configured and then it will be joined the gateway directly, or we need to configure the sensor before joining the gateway. In general, we need multiple of information if we are going to add a new sensor. I can show like this one. So this is tests, and the type is device. So I can select like else's, and we have different type of sensors for else's. So this one maybe, and we need this information for adding or for connecting a device or a sensor to gateway. We need device ID or a DVUI, and we need the activation type on the air activation, I think so, and activation by push button, I think so. And we need the application key or app key and the application EUI or app EUI. Once we have this information about the sensor, which is actually sent by the manufacturer, so it will be printed on the device or sensor. So just add this information next, and we can just add this device review, and we can create this device easily.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
that is very interesting. I mean, you are basically directly onboarding your sensors, and it's ready to operate, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's no need like to go with the lower level, let's say, because the lower level is handled by activity. This is the platform that we are using to work with. So this is activity. So we are working with APIs with activity here. So we send like the information to activity, and activity will add the device. So we send via APIs. We are using also like another platform. It's called IGU for also. Basically, we are using two platforms. Mainly, we are using IGU, and IGU is connecting to activity. But for grill plats or barbecue area, we are using activity directly. Why we are using IGU for decoding? We need like a service for decoding the data that comes from the sensor. But for grill plats, we are decoding the data directly. We have like a service to decode the information once it comes to like our services.
Hmm.
So this is in general. So the platform is like we need the platform to be super easy. Like we have just like the name, device, just like add a brand. Even if there is like something more about the information, maybe we have what's called properties. So here we need to add the device. So there's like information. It's called BKM. It's only for this sensor because there is like calibration for the sensor itself. So we can handle this also. Again, like we are using this is like for APIs for our services that our customers get data directly from this portal. We are more interested in APIs than the user interface, but the user interface is also like necessary sometimes to show like the final result. But usually, like we are working a lot with APIs more than working with the user interface. I can say more specifically in or about the infrastructure, about Internet of Things, not the final result with the portal, because we can create like a new or really nice diagrams and charts using Power BI, business intelligence using Microsoft or other services. But this one just to make things easier, and we are currently like using this portal, or we started investigating this portal for other services such as district heating. uh, so this is in general how it works, or how we can connect like a device. If you are working with the Things network, I've mentioned this. It's almost the same technique. So you need the basic information. You need div EUI for LoRa, the type of activation, device class, application key, and application UI, and you can connect the device directly to the Things network. If you are using other type of providers, so maybe like there are other type of providers, but Currently, we are working with Actility. Another one is called the Think Network. A new one, promising one, is called Helium. It's really promising. We
Mhm.
are currently investigating this one, and we started like negotiating, or we started talking with IoTema, I think so, with Frederick.
Yeah.
So, which is really really nice and cool. Uh, Again, like when we are done, if we are going to talk about in like a little bit about Helium, so if we are done with Helium, so we can create a new service that can connect to Helium, or get like data from it. Will be like an IT platform to get data from Helium, and again we can use this data in our infrastructure directly. This is what we are currently thinking.
Mhm.
Hmm?
And then there is another questions on the lifetime of your sensors or devices. So how do you do the maintenance, or how do you make the replacement if there is a necessary?
We didn't face this issue till now, but usually the devices or LoRa devices, maybe they will last for a very long time. Maybe like we are going to say maybe 5 to 10 years. Uh, this is exactly what we created, like alarms, and we created like this type of functionality to check the battery level. We need to like an easy way to check if the battery is okay or not. So we can just like connect or just put the values that we can say like this is the standard, and we can see like this one is green, so it's like within the range that we specified. This one is above the range. So if we say like it's to 100, oh sorry, 100, so everything is okay. But if we say like it's maybe like 80%, so this one is below the range, or this. So again, like usually this is okay, but we can create like alarm. We have created what's called flexible rules, or rule engine for this one. So we can just name the alarm, so it will be like this, and like battery level, and we can create if the level of the battery is less than or equal, let's say 50, or maybe like we are going to replace it after like 30 or 20. We have also threshold like how many times we need to fire this alarm. So if it sends, if the sensor sends only once, so we will fire alarm. But if we write something like here two, so if the first time, let's say like the battery level is 20, send the first one, and uh, so the first one will not trigger the alarm. The second one, the second value below 20 in row, so this will trigger the alarm. And we have also grace period. So if you say like you can send this alarm only on 60, or after 60 minutes, or like during 60 minutes only once. The main concept that we are dealing with here is called the channels. What we mean with the channels, each sensor actually has the channels to send data, or to get data from, or to send data to. So for example, we have the channel for battery level, so we can check the battery level. It doesn't matter at all what type of sensors that we are dealing with. So if we have that the battery level is in percentage, so each sensor has this channel, so we can monitor, we can see this channel. At the same time, we can like filter, or just minimize or reduce the number of sensors by just specifying the brand, or maybe specifying the model. But if you want like each sensor that has the battery level below 20, just directly send alarm to us, and that's it.
Hmm.
So we know like
And
exactly.
also, from your experience,
Mm,
since you were working for a while on IoT in Kalmar, so
mm.
how available is the LoRa network in Kalmar city or in the Kalmar area?
Uh, I think the coverage for LoRa is pretty well in Kalmar, Kalmar city specifically, because we have multiple. multiple gateways in Kalmar. I'm not totally sure exactly about the availability 100%, but I think we have like multiple gateways that cover almost all Kalmar city. I think so. Unfortunately, my colleague he's responsible to answer this question, but unfortunately he's not here.
So another, I think, also interesting and relevant question for Kalmar Energy is: are you also working with IoT for energy system applications like grid, solar, or wind power?
Yeah, we have project with this, but we started working with, like when you are in a company, so you start testing or doing what's called the proof of concept. We did this actually in the last year. Then we started talking about like new areas. So the first one or the first project for internal using for IoT portal, it was temperature in and out for district heating. So we want to create or actually to replace a system that we currently have or we currently using for detecting and processing the information for district heating. So we want to replace this one, but for other systems, maybe like this will come later. Specifically talking about sensors or detecting or monitoring the data that comes from these sensors. Our plan is just to create like almost like APIs almost for any sensor. Maybe like customized user interface for each sensor, because like this sensor has almost the same, exactly the same information as this
Mhm.
sensor, but we need maybe like to make few like customization for this sensor.
Yeah.
Even like we can select, like we have the freedom, the example, we can select this one. So just show me the information about the battery level. So we can show only the battery level almost from the beginning. So we have this. So it works pretty well, but maybe like we need like customization. So maybe later we are trying. We are testing always like in new areas. I can say like this portal is like is a new. I can't say like it's like for about a long time. We started with this project before about like 1 year exactly, and the first version for this portal it was before, or it was in November in the previous year. And then we started adding the new functionalities, creating alarms, notes, maps, even like sending data to, or what's called downlink. So we can send data to the sensor using hex payload, choosing the port.
Mhm.
uh, so we have this kind of functionality almost all every, like let's say like the main functionality for Internet of Things device. Currently we are testing, or we started testing the temperature for district heating, maybe for solar wind, maybe like solar and wind, maybe like we are going to test this later.
Yeah, interesting. And one also interesting question, maybe that will be also useful for many students here. So,
Mm,
if anyone wants to do their project, IoT
mm,
project, as part
mm,
of their degree project or thesis with Kalmar Energy,
mm.
is there any possibilities?
Yeah, sure. Like we're really happy like to do like the thesis with Kalmar Energy. You can contact. I will send the information. Like my manager. His name is Victor Olofsson. So you can contact him. Even if you have like a project that sounds like interested or interesting project. Again, like barbecue area, grill plots, students, I think 3 students, they came up
Mhm.
with this area, with this idea about creating like a new sensor to detect people in an area. And we were like super happy like to deal or to work with them.
Yeah,
And
this
they
was
created the
also on
sensor.
the local media about this project. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. and they benefit from this, or they have created a company, and we signed a contract with them, as I can remember. So if you have like a project, you want to do your thesis, you have an idea, so you want to work with, we can provide, as I said, the infrastructure. We have really good infrastructure, gateways, portal, API, so we can provide this kind of information. They send us only like information about this and the payload, and we did the rest. And we can connect, or we send the data directly to other platforms. So they have only like worked with the sensor itself, how it works, or the sensor itself. So if you have an idea, you want to do your thesis, you want to do your project, just go ahead. I will send my manager information. His name is Victor Olofsson. If you are like at Linnaeus University, so there is like a page for the thesis, and if you can go down, so you will find Kalmar Energy with Victor Olofsson, so you can contact him also. So his name is there also, but I can send the name, or maybe like Francis, maybe you have the name, so you
Yes.
can just send the name directly on chat. And he's my manager. Yeah.
And maybe one final question, since there are not many from the students,
Mm,
that I want to ask personally. You,
mm,
you already worked some years with IoT, with LoRa network, with sensors, and so on.
mm,
And we are always discussing the usefulness of LoRa network. But did
mm.
you personally face any challenge while you were working with LoRa network from any
Uh,
perspective?
but like I can divide this question for the software part and the hardware part. The hardware part, I don't have like much experience with do or with working with the hardware part, because the challenges with the hardware, I think so, they are really known. I think so. The interference between messages, how to deal with the duplications. So maybe this will be, or this is handled by the network server. But for the challenges for the software part, I can talk about this, since like I've worked a lot with Internet of Things, or LoRa specifically. The main idea of the main challenge is there is no documentation, or let's say there is no, let's say, a model for each device. So actually, each device you could just send the hexadecimal information directly, and this will open like a door for hacking or like security issues. So if we say like I'm going to send an information about a temperature, and the temperature is like we can save it in 1 byte. So like sending this byte to us, so maybe like this byte contains invalid information, or maybe like it's incorrect. So again, there is no model, there is no like a general or unique or standard model for Internet of Things devices. Maybe this is like not like a good point, maybe like it's a good point, but from a programming perspective, or being like a developer working with these devices, it's somehow hard like to define each device, or working with each device.
Hmm.
I started with something, or with initiative. It's called FiWare. It's like a standard, or making like a standard for Europe. But again, the main idea is how to decode the information for each sensor, because each company will create its own device or their own devices, and they will send the information with manual, and we have to handle this information. So from the software part, is it's almost the hardest one. Uh, just mentioning for this issue, specifically this issue, we are in contact with multiple energy companies. I had a meeting with software architect working with I think Lyon Shopping Energy, I think so. And we talked about this issue, because this is the main issue for developers: how to deal with different type of devices, how
Hmm.
to decode the information from different types of devices. At the same time, is there any model for each device, so we know like this is the input and output for each device? This is the hardest point, I think so. So if we have this like model, or we have like decoders for all these sensors, so it will be like pretty easy. And we can say it's like a standard. There is a new also like standard, I think. I can remember this payload. It's cab, I think so. I can't remember, but there is like a way like to create this kind of payload, a standard payload. But again, is it supported by all companies? Unfortunately, no.
Mhm.
Uh, I started working with this, but again, I discovered not all the companies support this
But
kind of mechanism.
the question here or the problem here is that should it be concern for the beginners or who want to start, yeah, their new basic IoT project, let's say.
Yeah, like if I'm going to talk about the future or talking about this one, so try like to create a manual and try to put just I can think about one thing here. Since there is no standard, so if you can go with the standard, it would be super nice. If there is no standard and you want to create your own payload, or like you create your payload, just try to make it like as like future proof, let's say. So try to think about future, so like how to divide the payload when you send it. So, and take a extra look for each like sensor that you are going to work with. So for example, you can start with a code. Let's say one is for temperature, two for like humidity, three for blah. Because if you started like just creating, just sending the temperature, so by time if you want to use like or to add a new sensor to your device, so it will be super hard for you because you have to change the whole payload again.
Mhm.
So if you think about this like a way, like it will be good for future, it will be nice. Or maybe like you can use like a standard, which will be like super nice. There is like I can't remember it right now. It's like for payload to create like a payload or like a standard payload, so you can create. But again, maybe like you will face a case there is no standard at all. Maybe like for count or something,
Mhm.
or how many people like in one place, or maybe like detecting images or something else. Mm, I'm not totally sure, but from like a programmer perspective, try to follow the standard, think in future. This is what what I'm thinking about.
No, thank you. You already provided a lot of information for the students and also for us. I mean,
Mhm.
from the practical point of view, and some
Thank you
very
too.
practical applications of IoT based services. And
Okay.
thanks for joining us, Osama.
Thank you too.
I
Thanks a
think
lot.
we all enjoyed your presentation, including the
Thanks.
demo, and
Thanks.
we look forward also for your participation in the next year, like you did
I
always.
hope so. I hope so. I started with you like by the way, Francis is my was my actually like teacher and thesis and doing the API. So it's like it was like a huge benefit for me. So really thank you, and I'm looking forward to like in the next year also.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
and have a nice evening, everyone.
Yeah, nice evening. Okay.